This is not a video I ever wanted to make. I've always worried through my research and the stories that I've received from viewers about FIFA points spending that this could eventually happen, and it's important that I share this story to show the dangers of what can happen with the current system in place and highlight EA Sports' negligence that leads to something like this even being possible. But if you are someone who is affected by mental health problems, which, side note, is always a weird statement for me because everybody's going to struggle with mental health at some point in their life, but I guess specifically for the subjects discussed in this story, I feel it's important to tell you that there are multiple links in the description for gambling support charities, as well as a phone number for instant support if you are struggling. EA Sports exploits users through a loot box gambling system in FIFA. The exact process behind this and pack system is not advertised. There are no spending caps in this game mode, no age gates, no gamble aware restrictions, and this is effectively a system akin to placing a slot machine in your child's bedroom. You put money in, you don't know what players are coming out, and the best players have a very, very low chance to appear, and the odds of each player are withheld from EA Sports themselves. Nobody knows. I'm going to be reading Anthony's story here, so on screen, not really important what you're looking at. Just give this a listen. It's a long read, I understand you may be busy. I just thought after seeing your last video, I would share with you my story. Now feel free to use this however you wish. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I've played FIFA since FUT, or Ultimate Team, has been added to the game. I believe the first game was actually the UEFA Champions League game. Back then the element was to have fun. These cards were very obtainable, giving a sense of fun and excitement when playing with your favourite players. Fast forward to FIFA 12. This game was the most fun I've ever had on a FIFA title. Overpowered silver players, non-rare usable gold players. This game had people using a variety of players and it was so much fun to play with, and this was the best FIFA for executing skill moves, making for fun, magical moments of gameplay. I remember on FIFA 12 playing FIFA from 5 to 8 straight at weekend. Back then there was no rivals, no weekend league, just seasons and very basic tournaments. Back then I played so much because I loved the game and not because FUT Champs is forcing me to do so, fear of missing out on rewards each day. Now with all that said, even back then there was something fishy about inform cards not playing to their stats and feeling worse than their normal cards. At these times pros all used normal cards and never an inform in competitions. Scripting was a thing back then, however it was very, very mild, perhaps 1 in 20 games, but it did exist, and on this FIFA I probably spent around £4,000 on FIFA pack. Each year on FIFA I felt the scripting getting worse, and the fun gameplay modes outside of FUT, like offline tournaments when your mates come round for a game, and also 5v5 online. We used to have such a good fun on these game modes and suddenly they all disappeared. Each year I continued to spend around 5k a year on packs. I was addicted. It would start with, okay, £30 is my limit, and then £10 more, £15 more, £20 more. Before I knew it, I'd get paid, and on the same day, I'd spend £200 of my wages. Gone in minutes on packs. Over these years, I became a dad of 2, but my addiction spiraled out of control. I was borrowing money to pay bills before the end of the month because I'd spent too much money, and I was constantly depressed and snappy around that time. Then came FUT Champs. Firstly, 40 games a weekend, which sent me insane, but I would always play due to the fear of missing out, leaving me no time for the kids or family at the weekend. I played every single weekend. I would even make excuses not to go out so I could play. I remember missing a funeral just because I had Champs. I know, I'm a horrible human being. As mentioned, I was still spending at least 5k a year on top. Then they reduced it to 30 games a weekend, and I thought, yes, going to be so much easier. Wrong. As they began adding things in the week like objective cards, etc. So now it spiraled into not being able to do anything in the week or weekend. My debts kept mounting and I was scared to tell anyone, so I became more depressed. My now wife had no idea, so we decided we wanted to get married. My wife chose an expensive, to me, venue, and she begged us to book it, and I knew I could not afford. But I did it anyway. Pressure and depression had a hold of me. I was not a nice person to be around. Mood swings, turning to drugs to help me forget what's going on. At this point, I'm over 12k in debt and still buying FIFA points. For 2 years after the wedding, I was heavily depressed, but no one knew. I was trying to hack away at the debt I had mounted up, bearing in mind I was in full-time work and struggling. My wife was then trying to plan holidays, and I had to make excuses, as there was just no way I could afford it. We never went on a honeymoon. I still haven't been away, and it's nearly 10 years since a holiday, and FUT is massively to blame. I was spending every hour on every day, either thinking about or playing Ultimate Team. It had become my life, and I would never go to bed with my wife. I would make excuses not to do things and be with the kids to play because the game demanded so much of my time. 7 months after the wedding, I'm in even more debt, and my wife went away to her mum's one weekend. She rang me to say she wanted me out of the house and she and the kids were not coming back till I left. I panicked. I found out that I had no legal right to stay in the house and I had to leave. I was rock bottom. I made a phone call to a work colleague and told him I'm done. I then went upstairs and grabbed some heavy duty rope and proceeded to tie it around the banister at the top of the stairs. It was like watching myself in the third person. I wasn't crying, I wasn't sad or mad. I just knew this was the only way. I was going to lose everything. I tied the rope so tight around my neck. I was on my tiptoes. My phone rang and I tried to grab it. Answered it and slipped, and I was now hanging while my brother was on the other end of the phone, hearing me fight for my life. I'd realised I'd made a mistake, but it was too late. I blacked out, and all I could remember is being rugby tackled up the stairs and saved by 2 policemen. After this I came clean, I sorted things out with my wife, and we are still living together. Things got a lot better. However, recently, with Team of the Season, I've started again and devoted way too much time to this game. It's weird, I play COD for 4 hours, never once complain, but I play FIFA for 1 game and then absolute BS happens that runs through my veins and I want to explode. I'm slowly turning back to my old self and I hate it. I just can't say no to a new promo pack objective. I'm now a 35-year-old man going grey with rage fits and slipping into depression again. If this is what this game has done to me over the 10-year period, what can it do to innocent children? Something needs to happen, as over the years, this game has given me severe chest pains. I now have angina, probably a direct result of this game. I know this is quite a lengthy read. Feel free to use this story however you wish and rewrite it if need be. I love your videos and I hope change happens. Thank you. Anthony clearly has a problem with addiction, and that's obvious to anybody who just heard that story. People like Anthony are the exact reason I make these videos, because they are the most at risk. Now maybe people like Anthony would have found themselves in Paddy Power or William Hill and doing the same amount of rogue spending to cope with issues they were struggling with. The difference is, betting shops are regulated. Betting shops have gamble-aware notices. You would hope, and it's not always the case, that employees in betting shops would pick up on people with suffering from addiction. I know people who have worked in betting shops and have had to refuse service or spoken to people about, maybe they are struggling. If you see somebody coming to your shop 5 days a week and spending everything he's got, you might pick up on it. FIFA is effectively a betting shop in your bedroom, and there are no regulations to protect people like Anthony. The man has spent over £10,000 on FIFA packs and has clearly, this addiction has clearly taken him to the edge. It's a lot to take in, it's a lot to read, and you're not the only one. Thank you to everyone who reaches out to me with these stories. I always try to read through as many stories as possible, but stories like Anthony's actually went into my junk email and I only found it even though he sent it a month ago the other day. There needs to be a place where people can talk about this stuff in the FIFA scene, and I'm going to put my Discord in the description. I'm going to create a channel in that Discord specifically for people who do want to share stories with other people who have suffered, so that maybe you can go on to help each other. I'll leave a link down in the description for that Discord, so click on that, sign up and get yourself in there if you're somebody who wants to talk to me or maybe some of our mods or other people that might have suffered. Right now on screen I'm showing a comment that I unfortunately had to respond to yesterday on one of my videos. This opinion is a problem. Effectively, what James is saying is that I make these videos to make a lot of money and I love the fact that EA's bad and everybody should just get off their back. This opinion is what allows EA Sports to go on doing what they've done for years. I spoke to my cousin the other day. He's not really a big gamer, and even he remembers 8-9 years ago when he was about 11 years old spending his birthday money on Ultimate Team packs. I guarantee majority of young lads, obviously girls as well, but the majority of young lads playing FIFA 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 has spent money on FIFA packs, and for the majority of those kids it won't turn into an addiction, but there's a small amount that it will, and it's a serious thing. I will continue to push stories and videos like this out until I see EA Sports hold some sort of accountability for their actions and actually show some compassion to their users, because people like Anthony, he's one of the lucky ones. He is one of the lucky ones. Ultimately, his suicide attempt was unsuccessful, he was saved, and we're very, very, very happy about that. And the main points of what I'm saying here is, okay, A, this is dangerous. EA Sports put out a dangerous product, and I'm passionate about that for people like Anthony, who could have very, very easily lost his life. The main points that I tried to get across to James are, you should be angry at a company like EA Sports. They hold football games hostage with their licensing. They never listen to their community. They put out a dangerous product that clearly can have severe effects on their users like Anthony. And the final point, about calling me this money-grabbing fraud and questioning all my integrity with this type of content, screw you. I don't have anything else to say. If FIFA was a good game, I would have made a lot more money. Okay? That's a fact. My channel would be a lot bigger than it is if pro clubs had investment. if the game continued to grow every year and had a bigger user base, more interested in watching YouTube videos based around the game. And the final thing I can say on you make money out of these videos, and that's the reason you love it. You want people to suffer because, yay. EA Sports have made a lot more money from their pack system than I have from a few YouTube videos. So whose integrity are you really going to question here, them or me? Please leave a comment for Anthony in this video. Leave a comment, show him some love, and I'm sure he's going to read through as many as he can. Just know, Anthony, by sticking around and sharing this story, thousands of people who may have been in similar situations to you, who are struggling right now, will click on this video and they will benefit from hearing this and knowing that they are not alone. That's really important, mate. Like, that's a really important thing that you've done. I really hope you can step away from FIFA. I really do. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but you know that your life would be better if you just got rid of the PlayStation. It's not something that's easy to do. I get it. It's like asking an addict to put the bottle down. It really doesn't work like that. Please, mate, continue to talk to me as we have been doing, and maybe some of the links in the description you can reach out to and speak to, and I hope that one day you just leave EA Sports titles behind and you can move on with your life and your family's life, because it's not worth it. Thank you for reaching out. You've helped a lot of people with this video.